Oh my God, what's the other stuff? Everclear. I mean, it's poison, people. Moderation, please. Okay? Like I say, my son and I, we played this game all the time when we used to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Who's dead and how did they die? And you can just go down the list and see drug overdose and alcohol poisoning. Just all over the place. Excess. Don't drink to excess, okay? Someone had a question? Raise your hand. Yes, sir.
Well, like everything is like 190 proof. So like, how much more is moonshine than that?
Oh, it's way less. Moonshine should ideally be 100 proof. According to my grandfather, who was a bona fide, and he never got caught by the revenuers, you want 100 proof, which is about 50% alcohol.
So why is it illegal then?
Why? Well, the government taxes the hell out of it, and so if you make it without, you know, they want their cut, they want their share. Now, they do have moonshine distilleries now, isn't there? South Carolina,
Yeah,
they call it moonshine?
Yeah,
The government's okay with it, why?
Tennessee has it too.
Yeah, it's regulated and you're paying the tax, you know, on it. So you call it whatever you want as long as the government gets their percentage.
Yeah.
But back in the day, I mean, it's a long story, my grandfather told me. You know, it was during Prohibition. And you know where he used to hide it?
Baby crib.
You know? Under the chicken coop.
Yeah.
Where are my farmers in here? Is anybody going to go looking for moonshine under a chicken coop? No, they figure if it's there, I'm not going in after it. So he hid it under the chicken coop. Okay. There you go. So don't tell the dean that, you know, my family's organized crime or whatever. So let's talk about the different types of spirits or liquor out there. Okay, and again, we did this the other day, right? Let's do it again. I can probably tell what region you're from by what your parents or your grandparents drink. Okay? First one we talk about is whiskey, and there are different types of whiskey out there. Whiskey is made from fermented mash of grain to which malt in the form of barley is added. What does that sound like to you? What did we just talk about? Beer. What is whiskey? It's fermented beer. Or excuse me, it's distilled beer. You take the same thing except for the hops, put it in your mixture, let it ferment, then distill it, and lo and behold, you got whiskey. Okay? That's how you make whiskey. It's like beer, taking it the extra step and distilling it. The most prevalent form of whiskey in the U.S. now is Scotch. And it's made in smoky kilns. If you drink Scotch, it's got kind of a smoky flavor to it. It's because you actually use smoky kilns. Who here drinks Scotch, or parents drink Scotch, or grandparents drink Scotch? Where are you from? Or where are they from?
Like heritage-wise, or like?
Yeah. No, in the United States.
My mom's from Kentucky, and my stepdad's from New Jersey.
Really? And they drink Scotch?
Yeah.
Okay,
My mom
interesting.
doesn't, but Charleston.
And Scotch. Okay, you guys are blowing my curve here. What? Okay, Pennsylvania. Now we're getting a little bit closer to the where? Virginia.
Connecticut.
Wow. Midwest. Midwest. Big Scotch drinkers. Okay. Kind of getting into Pennsylvania for sure. In New Jersey. Kentucky is, I don't know, maybe they're on the northern border there. Okay. Scotch is the #1 drink in the Midwest. Or was. Now things have changed quite a bit, even in the last 30 years, because people move around. But like my in-laws are all from Ohio and Pennsylvania, and they all drink Scotch. Or Iron City Light. Scotch and Iron City Light, they go back and forth. Then there's Irish whiskey. There's no kind way to say this, but it's the cheap stuff. Scotch whiskey, you know, is like wine. You take it and you let it age. What's Johnny Walker Black? How long is it aged? In barrels, like 20 years.
Like 30 years or something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like the blue, black, green, whatever.
Yeah, years and years it's left to mature in barrels. Irish whiskey is pretty much, you make it and you drink it. Okay? But there are other types of whiskey out there. Bourbon whiskey. Whose parents drink bourbon whiskey? Where are they from?
Kentucky.
Yeah, now we're talking. Yeah, absolutely Kentucky.
Alabama.
Oh yeah, Alabama. The South. Specifically the Southeast. Okay? So my dad drank. It's what I drink. And especially what's the bourbon everyone drinks in the South? You don't even have to say the full name. You just say the initials. JD. Jack Daniels, right? Corn mixed with rye. Jack Daniels is a sweet. And where does it get its sweetness? It actually gets it from the corn. Right? Even my wife puts a little, when she's having a bad day, puts a little Jack Daniels in her tea. Just a teaspoon. Okay? Just to sweeten it up. Then there's Canadian whiskey. Anybody drink Canadian Seagram 7? Where are your parents from?
Connecticut. They drink everything.
They drink it? Okay.
They're whiskey
No.
drinkers, so our bar at home is all different whiskey. So.
Canadians? Any Canadians in here? Kinda? Okay. Canadian whiskey's big up there, and it's from corn. A lot of it had to do with the region that you grew things in. Again, we've become such a transient society now. There's really no regional behavior. It gets kind of mixed up. But if you were to go back 50, 60 years ago, I mean, if you were from the Midwest, you just drank Scotch. That's what your parents drank. That's what you drank. If you were from the South, you drank bourbon. Okay. Whiskey is definitely regional, shall we say. Okay. Now, whiskey is not considered to be a white spirit, but these are white spirits. And when we say white, we really mean clear. Okay. Now, whose parents drink gin? Interesting. Where? What region?
North Carolina. I don't know.
Okay. Interesting.
New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay. Yeah.
My grandfather drinks in from New York.
Okay. Upstate.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's from Mexico City, so.
He is definitely outside the curve. Okay. There was a time when gin was by far the most popular spirit in the world. You say, Professor Smith, I bet you have an interesting story about that. And you would be right. We're the superpower nowadays, right? Who was the superpower before the U.S. and Russia? And Russia's not really a superpower anymore. Who was U.S. before we became the superpower? The British. You said that. Yeah, you are absolutely correct, right? Britannia rules the waves. They were the superpower up until about really between World War I and World War II, where we took over. Britain was probably the most far-reaching empire ever to be on the face of the earth. What does that mean? They had colonies everywhere. Winston Churchill once said, the sun will never set on the British Empire, and what he meant by that is no matter where you are in the world, if the sun is shining, it's going to be touching on British property. What were some of the places Britain occupied / colonized, depending on your view of history? India. Huge India, right, the Raj? Where else?
North Africa.
North Africa, excellent. Keep going.
Bahamas.
Bahamas, excellent.
Parts of South America.
Canada, where we come from, right? United States, British, they were everywhere. And so what would happen, here's how Britain did things, and this is a very oversimplification. If you were a college student, probably upper to middle class in England, first of all, I'd kick all you ladies out. You would not be in college. It would be men. And then you would graduate, and there's a good chance you would go into what is known as the Foreign Service or the Diplomatic Corps. Not in the Army, not in the church, but in the Diplomatic Corps. And what would happen is that you would get your first assignment. And I would go, Bahamas, Israel, North Africa, Australia. And I would send you guys out. India. And you would go out and you would be kind of the regional government for these provinces or these colonies. Okay? Now, most of you have been raised in England all your life, which is what kind of climate? Come on, my Monty Python fans. It's a temperate zone, right? You guys know about the swallows? Yeah, okay. It's a temperate zone. Okay, what's your name? Kyle? Kyle, I'm sending you to India. Is it a temperate zone?
No.
Subtropical. A lot of heat, a lot of humidity. And what's the most dangerous animal in the world? Who said that? Say it loud and proud.
Mosquitoes.
The mosquito is by far the most dangerous animal alive. Why? Malaria. Now, how many mosquitoes do you get in England? Pretty much zero. But you go to India and the place is full of them. There's a good chance you are going to get malaria. Because your system is, you're set up for temperate and you go to tropical. So they had to fight malaria. They came up with this medicine called quinine water. Anybody know about quinine water? Yeah.
Gin and tonics.
You spoiled my story. Quinine water has another name. It's called tonic. How did it get its name? Well, has anybody ever drank quinine water by itself? It's nasty. Has anybody drank gin straight up? It's nasty. In a quirk of nature, it just so happens, if you put gin and tonic together, it actually tastes pretty good. And so what they would say to you, Kyle, is, Kyle, we don't want you to get malaria, so here, drink your tonic. Put some gin in there, it'll help the taste. So every day, you're taking your medicine. Gin and tonic, right? You do that.